Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of So Chatty with Walter and myself, the Idiot Quilter, Stephen. And I'm feeling very much like an idiot today, but nothing about that for now. Maybe someday I'll tell you why. So this is episode 88, and it is Friday, the 13th of January, 2023. Hope your luck's been better than mine has been this day. But as I said, that's a tale for another day. Okay, let's jump right in here. Because this is going to become a bit of a whiny session today. So let's see what I've been working on. And I just finished this. And this is Stars of Wonder. And it's the one that I've been working on over the last couple of months. I've only been doing it when we've gone off to Walter's sewing class at the club, the sew days they've had. So I finished it up the other day and got the borders on it, and now it has to be on Lucy for quilting, and I like it. I think it turned out nice. And Walter said that these are not the colors I usually use. Well, yes and no. I use blues.
Yeah, but you don't usually use greens and yellows.
Well, that's not green, it's teal.
Yeah, well, sort of green.
Well, teal's kind of blue-green.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in my color zone. Whatever with it. And I do use yellow on occasion as well and things. But anyways, I think it turned out pretty good. So that's one thing. And
I see it.
What do you see? What? You do not.
I do.
Where? What do you see? Well,
these things go a different way than these things go.
Oh, that doesn't matter. You'll notice that that's probably repeated in the border because I had to cut the border pieces and put them together. It's not a big. This is not like doing an invisible pocket on a shirt that you're so proud of.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought maybe you needed them all to go the same way.
You're a dork. No, they don't need to go all the same way.
Okay,
they can go that way. It is a custom design thing. It is fine. Besides, that's a pattern that. Oh, why am I explaining this to you? Jerk. Okay, and then I'm playing around with Lemoyne stars. I have no idea what I'm doing with these. This was an AccuQuilt die that I want to see how it worked out. And yeah, I'm still screwing around with this. I may come back to it, I may not. Right now I've got another project that's taking precedent over this one. So yeah, so that's all I have been working on the last little while. So Walter has nothing to show us except he has, so that's why he had time to point out what he thinks is a mistake. He enjoys that. That's one of his major
I'm too busy
hobbies.
helping you out with stuff.
Yeah. Anyways, he was helping me out with the collab I'm doing with Stephanie Stitches, and many of you may already know it because you may have seen the live that Stephanie and I did to kick it off on Wednesday. Do stay tuned if you are part of that group, if you're working on it, because we have some interesting information to reveal to you at Wednesday's class. We found some, well, I found some little problems with the pattern. Now, don't panic if you've already got your fabric and everything. It's all going to work out okay. But we have some tips and tricks for you on that. So if you aren't part of the sew along and you wish to be, you can still get involved with it because the videos are up on YouTube. Well, we only have one right now, so you can catch up very easily with that one. And the next live is this coming Wednesday, which would be January the, let's see, 14, 15, 16, 18th, January the 18th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, live. And if you can't make it, you can catch the rebroadcast if you're interested. So that's what we've been up to. All right, so what we're going to talk about this week, and I already hinted at the fact this may be a bit of a whiny session here with us. It's also a session where we have to be a little bit careful because we're going to be a little critical. Now, I call it what we, or how we pick what we watch on YouTube. And in other words, what channels do we feel we should subscribe to and keep up with on a regular basis? And I have literally over about 300 channels I subscribe to. I'm starting to weed them out though, because there are many of those I do not go to on a regular basis.
Either that or they've also changed in such a way that you don't want to necessarily watch them anymore.
Yeah. They look good at the first, or they appeal. I shouldn't say they look good. The content they had at the beginning when I decided to subscribe to them was very relevant to me. It hasn't for a variety of reasons, and some of these reasons have nothing to do with the quality of the videos. It's just that I've gone beyond them. Like, for example, I was watching a lot of quilting videos, and then when I first got started, because I was trying to learn how to do it. Well, I've gone beyond what they are showing now. I've become a little more advanced, I guess. So those ones I don't need to follow anymore because they're not giving me anything new in that. But there are other reasons why certain channels do not appeal to us. So we're going to go through these. Now, some of these things we're going to bring up when we make a video, we try to avoid this problem. We don't always necessarily avoid it completely, okay? So when I say that this is going to sound like criticism of other channels and that we're absolutely perfect, no, and if you've been with me for a while, you know I am not perfect. And I admit to that readily, and I point out my mistakes. And to become a YouTube creator, there's a learning curve. And I don't know if you ever become an expert. You might become more of an expert, but there's always plenty of room for most of us who do this, and we do it as a hobby, for improvement. So when we talk about these things that turn us off about certain channels, we're aware that there's a learning curve, and we're not going to name names, okay, at all. No, that would not be fair. I wouldn't want somebody centering me out for a mistake, and I have had that happen. Okay. Just look at some of the comments.
Yeah, so we'll just be talking in generalities.
In generalities about the things that, make us think twice before we hit the subscribe button. So, first one right off the bat is one that really gets my goat, and you've probably heard me talk about before. When a content creator gets on there, you're all ready, you've seen the title, you think you're interested in seeing it, and they start talking about personal problems. For example, now I
mean, it's not so much if somebody says, "Oh, I'm having a bad day today," or something like that. But it's more.
Well, they go for 15 or 20 minutes about, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to put up a YouTube video in quite a while because I've been sick and the dog ran away and one of my kids got a cold and then my husband hurt himself at work and then my mother-in-law got diagnosed with a bad disease and the garbage wasn't collected this week and the dust is piling up in the house.
Or I'm having emotional problems or something like that. Like they go on and on. And the idea that you clicked on that video channel is more to learn something about quilting or about another subject. I had, at one point in time, a long time ago when I was looking for the car that I bought, I clicked on, I was looking at videos of people that were reviewing the car that I wanted to get. And I clicked on one that was telling me about all the ins and outs of this particular model of car. And I clicked on it, and the first half hour of the video, the guy went on about all the problems he was having in his life. And
which were not related to his car.
Yeah, not related to his car at all. It had nothing to do with his car. All it was him driving in the car, talking about all his problems that he had. And after 20 minutes, I thought, well, I should have clued in before that. But after 20 minutes, I thought, all I'm doing is listening about his problems. I have nothing. I don't know anything about this car. Well, so I thought, okay, I clicked him off, and I didn't subscribe to him. So
clicked him off, eh? Is that being like ticked off?
Actually, I also wrote a message.
Ooh, you nasty
I wrote a message to him, and I said, well, I was looking for a car review. I wasn't looking for you to explain your personal problems to me.
Oh, you sarcastic person.
Deleted me.
Well, and you want to know something? Although I think your comment was probably fair, I could see why he would click it off because he may not see it in the same light either. And that's the problem. I find I have been tempted when I get to ones like that where they're just whining and it has nothing to do with the topic whatsoever. I have been tempted to write a comment as well, but I stop myself because I think, okay, they don't probably realize what they're doing. It is their channel. They are free to put up their content anyway and any content they want and that kind of thing. I have the ability to not hit the subscribe button and never come back if it's really bothering me. And I have said that to people before on my own channel. If my content isn't to your liking for whatever reason, feel free to unsubscribe or not subscribe at all with it. You can't please everybody. However, what's really annoying about these kind of things is it's wasting your time.
Yeah, like, I mean, I feel bad for the person that's having these problems and stuff like that. But is it necessary to add it to your video that you've posted as saying, you know, a review of a car or a review of a sewing machine or how to quilt certain kinds of squares or something like that. So you clicked on that video to learn stuff about it, and you didn't really want to click on it and to find out someone's personal problems.
Yeah. You know, actually, those type of people do have possibly a very serious mental issue. They may be using YouTube to become the center of attention, because I look at the comments on some of those videos. There is one YouTube creator that's been around for a long time. It's in the crafting area. I'm not going to say his name, but he does things from his car all the time. And it's a whole lot of things about his mental health, about his depression problems, about his relationship problems. But yet he advertises his channel as one that's supposed to be about creating, about doing crafting and stuff like that. And he needs professional help. But he does this, I think, part of his mental problem is he's looking for attention. And people are giving it to him, because you look at the comments that are written, and people will make commiserating noises on there. What I mean is they'll say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for you. You're great. You're wonderful. Don't let that get you down. Don't do that." Yeah, okay, words of encouragement. And that's fine if people feel that they should do that. But
I mean, it's okay if somebody says, you know, like, I've had a major loss in my family, and you may have to forgive me because I may not be quite as attentive on the video or something, and then just go on and continue with their video. Like, not
dwell on
it. Yeah.
Because, you know, like I said, you have to question why they're dwelling on it. Why do they need to let perfect strangers know about their problems? That may be why they do. Maybe they don't consider the subscribers, perfect strangers. Maybe they consider them friends. I know I have that feeling about mine too, because doing crafting chats and things like that, and Stephen and Walter Live, we have, although we've never physically met most of these people, they're regulars, they come all the time, and you do get a sense of community from that and a sense that they are your friends. But that's the fine line. You have to be careful that you don't start talking too much about personal things with them, because let's be real, these are not your best buddies. You know, they're not the people, they're not family, they're not the people that you know,
it's more like
see them on a channel.
Like if you're working in a job and you have a business relationship with your peers and your bosses and things like that. It's more like that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's also embarrassing for the viewership, I think. I find it embarrassing because maybe I'm having a bad day too, and I come to the YouTube channel to watch some things just to get my mind off of that or whatever. I don't really need to hear about other people's problems. You know, that's not really going to cheer me up. That's just going to make, if anything, me feel a little bit more depressed and sad.
Maybe they should start up a YouTube channel that just discusses their problems.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. You know, like you see now something on television that they do a lot. They call it, there may be moments, this may be a triggering moment in this. They give you warnings like, you know, depictions of like suicide or abuse or that kind of thing. And those are called triggers because for some people, they may have lived through certain things like that. And this, you know, just throws them back into depression or whatever, or worse because of it. And I think the same thing can be said for YouTube when people start to get into all those kind of things, because, and that's not good. I don't think that's good. So I stay away from channels like that. If I go to a new channel and that's how they start it, I turn them off. I go, nope, not interested. Don't care. Also, there's a certain level of voyeurism happening here. You know, you start talking about your personal life, and there are people, or you mention you're having a problem or something. There are some people that aren't necessarily going to be supportive of what that problem is. They're getting their jollies from listening to somebody else's pain, and that's kind of sick. So, you know, those people.
Yeah, so I like to, especially like, I mean, I don't tend to watch a lot of YouTube channels. I tend to look for YouTube channels for help for something. Mm-hmm. So like I said, with the car thing, or, you know, like, I mean, I'll sometimes think, oh, I can't remember how to do a French seam on something. So I'll go and look up how to do a French seam. So what I really want from the video is I want to learn how to do a French seam. I want to be reminded how to do that. And I'm looking for something quick and easy to look at.
So, you know, there's probably 3 kinds of viewers, of people who eat up content on YouTube. They're the ones like Walter said. You go there because you want to learn how to do something. You're trying to find out something. You're trying to figure something out, okay? So you're using YouTube as a source of research, like a visual library.
Yeah, I use it sometimes like an appliance breakdown, and I'll look for appliances and how to fix videos or diagnosis videos and how to find a problem with an appliance or something like that.
And then there's another group of people who go to YouTube as a form of entertainment. I've heard many people who are getting rid of their cable television or whatever they've got and are using YouTube as their primary source for television now. And yes, there's lots of opportunities to be entertained because there are comedy shows on there, there's movies on there, there's news on there, there's music on there. So there's all kinds of entertainment value on YouTube. And basically, it's costing you very little to, you know, it's costing you just your internet.
Yeah, just have to put up with the commercials like you used to have to put up with on TV.
That's the transformation of television now. And streaming services know that. And then there's a third type of individual, I think, that goes to YouTube content. And they're the kind of people who love, they get off on other people's misery. Okay?
Or it's a form of reality TV, I guess.
Yeah, okay. But that reality TV, people are getting off on other people's misery or trials and tribulations. I mean, that's what reality television is based on, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Going in and watching people and their family relationships. They're looking for their love life to be fulfilled, whatever. All those kind of things like that. Well, those are the other group of people that go to YouTube for that kind of thing. So I'm like Walter, I go for information. If you're not going to give me the information, then I'm not going to subscribe to you.
Yeah, looking at it, it's almost like a documentary TV.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're learning about, in this case, Steve watches a lot of sewing related shows and things like that. So it's more of an information based thing. And I'm interested in listening to people that are parting information about the hobby or something.
Now, what we're in the real danger in now is coming up in point 2, because we've been doing it now. Repeating the same stuff over and over from one video to the next. I think we dwelled on that first point a little too long myself. So sorry for that. Okay. I told you we're not perfect either when we're talking about this stuff. But, you know, you look for variety in a YouTube channel. Yes, a YouTube channel you subscribe to may be about the same general topic, quilting, garment sewing. But what you're looking for, what I think keeps people interested in your channel, is the variety within that big umbrella of things. Now, I have been accused, and rightly so, and I understand why people think this, I have a vlog on Mondays, and I have the Idiot Quilter on Tuesdays. But there is some overlap. And someone asked me once, well, you showed this quilt already on your vlog. Why are you showing it again here? Well, I'll tell you why. One, I'm just giving you a sense. I start my videos by showing something. Okay? That's to pull you in a little bit into the main content. And on the Idiot Quilter, I will show you the same thing, but I will go into detail about it. If I have problems with it, I talk about that on the Idiot Quilter. I don't go into in-depth about the project. I just give you a taste, and that's basically...
That's on the other video.
That's on the blog. Yeah. That's basically a teaser. If you're interested and you want to know more about that, you can go to the Idiot Quilter, and I will tell you more about it. So it's sort of a preview. That's why I do that. But I have similar segments. For example, on the vlog, I talk about the YouTube channel of the week, and on the Idiot Quilter, I talk about a YouTube channel of the week, but they're different. The YouTube channels I review on the vlog are of more general appeal. They aren't always for the same group. The Idiot Quilter is for the same group. Those ones. That's a quilting one or a sewing one or something about fabric.
Okay. Whereas the general one could be about just general
interest. It could
interest.
Be about tech. It could be about travel. It could be general interest. It could be a channel that I found entertaining or something that. It's a wide variety. I try to appeal to a wider audience with my vlogs. I have thought about combining the vlog in with the Idiot Quilter and just getting rid of the vlog part completely. But the reason I don't is because I like to talk about my 3D printer, and I have people out there who are interested in that kind of thing. I like to talk about the grow lights and what we're doing with that. So the topics under the vlog, if I was to combine them with the Idiot Quilter, it wouldn't be an accurate reflection of why I call it the Idiot Quilter, because it would be about more than just quilting. And then I think I'm diluting it. For people who are coming there strictly for quilting stuff, they may not be interested in the rest of it, and they may just decide, forget it, I'll go away. So what's the point of me making videos then with it? So yeah, there is a little overlap. There's a little bit of overlap with So Chatty, in the terms of like what we're doing right now isn't so much about quilting. It is more about YouTube in general. Maybe a better place for this would have been on my vlog, but the problem is I need Walter's input, and he doesn't do a vlog with me. Vlogs tend to be a single person kind of thing. And So Chatty, the name says it all. We're chatting. We're talking. We're getting two different perspectives about this or that or the other thing, because we don't always necessarily have the same perspective on things. Of course, if you listen to Walter, his would always be the right one. Mine would be wrong.
It is.
And I stand corrected, as usual. Yeah. So that's why. And with our live, for example, that's a free-for-all. I mean, I have an outline of suggested things we can talk about, but sometimes we never get to that topic at hand because we go with the flow. And that's probably the one thing that we put up every week that's more personal, because we go with whatever people are discussing at the time and the questions they may ask or the comments they make. That's a little bit more of a free-for-all. So you see, all of my different segments during a week are different. There may be a slight bit of overlap, but I try to avoid repeating the same thing over and over and over again. But you go to some of these sites and you know exactly what they're going to talk about. And quite frankly, they bore me. Well, I already know that. You talked about that last time I tuned into you. If you want to keep an audience, and YouTube, the people behind YouTube tell you this, because there's things you can go into and they will help you build your channel. And one of the things that they say is you've got to offer fresh content all the time or you will lose your subscriber base. So you got to keep people interested. If you're just going to talk about the same old, and sometimes when I make demo videos for like the Idiot Quilter, I hesitate. Because, like, I've had many people say to me, well, could you do a video about binding a quilt? Well, there are hundreds of those on YouTube. I'm just repeating the same contents there because there's only so many ways.
Maybe you want to know how you bind a quilt.
Well, yeah, and I have done a video of that before. But I always have to think about that. Is this going to be new? Is this something unique? Is it different?
Well, you know, maybe because, you know, they watch your channel and they hear you talk about stuff that they would like to find out how you do it. More as, like, you know how you were saying that some people view us as friends?
Yeah.
Like they're saying, oh, I have this friend on YouTube. They will show me how to do a binding.
Yeah, that's true. And that brings me to the next point then. Sometimes, in my opinion, and remember, this is what I'm saying, what kind of turns us off. Doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. It just means it's something that doesn't appeal to us. And that's overly friendly people on YouTube who immediately embrace you as being, oh, you know, thank you so much for that. There is one YouTube creator out there that I do watch. I don't watch her as much as I used to. It's a relatively new channel, but she's doing everything in her power to make people feel that she is a very friendly person. And she probably is a very friendly person.
Yeah, and people will start telling her their problems, their personal problems. And so, and she responds to that.
She responds to that a lot. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Mary. I'm really praying for you. I hope all goes well. Okay, it's all right to say things like that to people, I think. But when you're constantly doing it, people get this sense that you're their buddy. So don't do anything wrong, because you will fall. I feel you will fall from that state of grace. And you know, sometimes I find it so repetitive and annoying that I want to see them fall. And that's just that horrible side of me. You know, yeah, I hope somebody gets you. No, I mean, I don't want to think that. And that's when I say, okay, look, I shouldn't be watching this. Because again, I'm not getting anything out of it. Some people actually feel so in tune with the person, whatever, they send them things unsolicited. Or sometimes, some of them are so friendly, they actually do solicit. The one I'm thinking of right now, and this person is not alone here, I've seen it on other channels too. Create a wish list on Amazon and give the link to it. And they list all kinds of products there that they would like to own. People actually, when they have that link, they go to it and they actually send those things to them. Now, am I jealous about that? Yeah, okay. I have to analyze and be honest about my feelings. I am a little bit. But I don't put up a wish list, and I don't ask for people to send me things. When I used to do a lot of crafting, and I watched a lot of crafting channels, they had something called Happy Mail. And Happy Mail is basically where people would send off to them things related to their crafting. Especially when I was doing art journaling. I watched art journaling ones. People were sending them products like scrapbook paper, ephemera, things like that. Tons of it. And I said, no. I had somebody ask me once, oh, I'd like to send you some Happy Mail. What's your mailing address? And I said, thank you so much for the offer, but I'm not going to give you my address because, to be honest, I don't need any Happy Mail. Because sometimes your Happy Mail tends to be a lot of garbage. It's stuff you don't really need. I mean, the thought is there. It's appreciated. Someone thinking of you, you know.
Because there are a lot of people that feel they want to give something to the creator.
Yeah.
And as I mean, and there's back to that friendship thing or something like that. They think the friendship, and it's not like we wouldn't want to be a friend of yours, but it's just that we don't really like.
But here's the kicker in this one. Some people give things and they expect to be acknowledged on the YouTube channel for giving those things. Mm-hmm. And they're not. Sometimes people say, oh yeah, someone sent me this today. Wait, someone has a name. But they won't say who they are. Now, in some cases, the person sending it to them has said they want to remain anonymous. Okay, that's fine. That's their priority. But some people want that acknowledgement. And if they don't get that, they become resentful. So the creator is setting themselves up by not giving that acknowledgement in some form or other for a fall. And you don't know how people are going to take things. Some people need a lot of acknowledgement. Other people, a little like, oh, you know, Mary sent me this last week. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mary, is enough. Others, no. They want you to get down on your knees and worship.
But then it also creates a thing like if Mary sent something off to the creator, then all the other people that are watching are going, oh, maybe I should send something.
Yeah.
But, you know, so.
But we're moving a little way now.
Yeah.
We're moving more to the people
Yeah.
who have sent it. I want to go back to the content creators who have set up the situation, like a wish list on Amazon, or they actually put in their show notes, here's my mailing address. And that, in some ways, I think that looks like they are soliciting to get things, get freebies. Okay, I can take that one step further. There's a lot of channels that are monetized with ads. I am monetized with ads, and we've talked about this before, and basically you make nothing from it unless you have 1 million subscribers, literally, to make any big bucks and make this a job. This is not my job. This is a hobby. I enjoy doing this, okay? Some have Buy Me a Coffee, which is actually, I looked into it. It is actually a third-party program that you set up a link to that in your show notes. You can donate $1 or $2. You know, the price of a coffee is often how they do this. And the creator gets some of that money, not all of it. This is set up by a third-party business that are making money from that. Some have Patreon sites that you pay so much a month, a subscription price really, and you're supposed to get something back from them. Well, a lot of times, I really don't think if you're going to give money that you're going to get your money's worth out of it. Also, it puts an onus on the creator to give something back. And then, of course, there's super chats, where this is the one that I think is probably out of all of these, one of the most stupid money grabs. Because what a super chat does is it puts your comment in the chat bar on a live to the top so that the creator will see it first. Why?
Because if they've got 3,000 people watching it, they want their comment to be seen.
Yeah, and they want acknowledgement. So there's something there, you know, as well that's a little on the iffy side. My channel, except for the monetization through YouTube for the ads, which by the way you would get anyways even if I wasn't monetized, because YouTube changed that a few years ago. So if you're not monetized, you're still going to get ads on them. So you might as well be monetized, right? You might as well make something out of it. But I do not have super chats. I do not have a Patreon. I do not have Buy Me a Coffee on there. And the reason is, to me, that's a form of begging. And I will not beg. I don't need to. I don't need to. Some people, some content creators, and I hate this when they go, oh, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and thank you for supporting my super chat or something like that, or buying me a coffee, because it is how I can keep this channel going. Because what they're implying is that it costs them money to run a channel. Not really. Not really.
It's your time.
It's your time. But it's really doesn't cost you anything. You don't pay anything to YouTube to set up a channel. Anybody can do it. Okay. Does it cost you in your equipment? Well, yeah, but let's think, what's the equipment you're using? You can do what we're doing right now. Where's the equipment that we're really using for this? We have a laptop with a camera that's built into it and the internet. But I would have this laptop whether I was doing YouTubes or not. I would have the internet whether we were doing YouTube channels or not, too. So where is the cost for me? Walter says cost of time. I do it because I like doing it. If I didn't like doing it, I wouldn't do it. So for me, there's no cost in that. So where is the cost? Now, looking beyond what I just told you, yeah, I have a couple of lights I bought to give a little better lighting. I have a switching panel to switch through my various cameras, and I have various cameras.
Yeah, and but see, some of these other people may be looking at it as more of a business.
Yes, they are. They are. But I'm looking at some that aren't so much the big business too, but they're milking it. Okay, that's the impression I have. I could be completely wrong about that, and I'm sure that doesn't apply to every creator out there that's getting money from other sources in here. You know, some get money from being an affiliate.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily keep you from watching the channel. You just...
No, that doesn't, except if it's constant.
Yeah.
And there are some channels where it's worse than an ad.
I mean,
they keep repeating it over and over. Yeah. And I feel the reason I don't say subscribe to me or and hit the likes is because if you've been watching YouTube channels for any length of time, you know all about that stuff already. It's pretty apparent. The subscribe button, the notification bell. I think most people, unless they're brand new, like they've never been on YouTube before. But for everybody else, how many times do you need to repeat it? Mm-hmm. You know, kind of a thing. I don't know. I find that annoying. That goes back to the thing I was saying about repeating the same stuff over and over again. But this over-friendly kind of quality, I think it's a danger for a content creator to be that familiar with their audience, because if you do something they don't like, they're going to hate you forever. You know, because people are fickle. And content, or people who watch YouTube channels can be very, very fickle about it. So then there's the talking about promotion and things. There's the promotion of other products. Now I'm talking about during a video, they stop and they themselves advertise a product because they're being sponsored by that product. Every day I get anywhere between 3 to 5 emails from somebody who wants me to promote their product on my YouTube channel. I never go with them. In fact, most of them I think are phishing. I think they're scams. I think what they want to do is, because they usually have a number you can call, or you're someone you can send an email to if you want to know more. And I have a feeling that they have a little, well, yeah, sure, you could make this much money on your YouTube channel, but you just need to give us an initial handling charge of whatever. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it annoys me to watch those videos because not only do you have to put up with they're usually monetized videos, so that you have to put up with the regular YouTube videos, which some of them you can skip, right? YouTube ads. And but not only that, while you're watching this content, you have to stop and listen to their spiel about whatever product that they're promoting. And so that's like another ad. And it's like they're trying to circumvent what the YouTube is getting for their ads type of thing.
Well, YouTube charges tax. I have to pay U.S. tax dollars on whatever I make on monetization, and I have to pay 30%, which is high, considering that we're supposed to have some agreement between our two countries about that kind of thing. But apparently,
I read somewhere that it has to do with the number of U.S. people that are viewing your content.
Yeah, well, let's face it. In this country, in Canada, the majority of our audiences are Americans.
Yeah.
With it. And that's just simply because the United States has 10 times the population of Canada. So, you know, the odds are. Mm-hmm. I think in some ways, I often wonder, does this money actually go to the U.S. government, or is this being pocketed, or part of it's being pocketed by YouTube? And I suspect it's being pocketed by YouTube as well. But there's not a thing I can do about that. But the point here about the promotion of other products. So what they're doing is they're circumventing that and supplementing what they may have to pay in tax, if they are paying in tax. I mean, I was honest. I filled out the forms. They told me I had to do that by such and such a date. And then they told me if I didn't fill out the forms and that, they would tax me at the highest amount, which was 30%. Well, guess what? I filled out the forms. I still get taxed at 30%. Even though there's paragraph 19 or something, it's called, that says that. But
anyway, so the promotion of other people's products within the video that you're watching, and I find that a little annoying.
Well, they're getting money for that, or they're getting some freebie out there. I mean, I know on one channel they were advertising for quite a while these food delivery places that, you know, that you make the food, it comes to you, all the ingredients in the box, and they had a script that they read from or had memorized or whatever, or were given talking points, and it went on for about 2-3 minutes about this and how much they liked it and the whole bit and everything like that, and they're getting something from it. I think they got free meals for a month or 2 months or whatever. Some people get free products. No one ever approaches me to review a product. I'm not big enough. That's why.
Yeah.
But the biggies out there, they do. They get approached. And so they're getting a payoff of some sort. Well, that's annoying. I mean, I don't want to listen to a commercial with it.
And not only that, I'm not sure how much to take what they're telling me about this product for real, because they're probably getting some sort of a
kickback.
Free product, or they're getting some sort of a kickback of some sort. So
yeah, so you know, are they going to give you an honest review of it? I don't think so. I don't think so. So other things that why I will leave a channel or not even subscribe to it once I've checked it out is getting to the point. They purposely set it up so you will stay, because the longer they're on there and the more ads that come up, the more money they get from YouTube. So they will start off by saying something like, okay, yeah, I'm going to talk about this, but first, and they ramble on about something else. Now, there was a time when to monetize a video, I don't think this is true anymore, you had to have so many views in a year, and your video had to be longer than 10 minutes in length. So you could tell the ones that were milking it because they didn't have enough content for main content for 10 minutes. So they would pull people in by saying they were going to talk about this and say, yeah, and we'll get to that in just a minute. And they'd ramble on about something totally different that had nothing to do with it, just to make their time up so they could get it monetized with it. That rule has changed, I think, now. However, there are still ones that they're trying to keep you there because more ads will come your way the longer the video. Have you ever noticed this? If you watch a long video, and mine, this happens too, I know, because I've had a few people way back when it first monetized saying, how come there's so many ads? Well, we don't have any control over the ads, but the longer your video is, the more frequent the ads will be. And what I do is I can set it up so that you can at least skip through them. But some don't. Because here's another thing. If you see an ad come up and you can't hit the skip button after the first 5 seconds of it, and you have to sit through it, that is because they haven't clicked that button. And what
the content creator hasn't clicked the button.
And the longer a person stays on an individual ad, the more money the creator gets. I always click that because I find that annoying. And you can't fast forward through an ad. I've tried. You can't. It'll come right back. You think you're getting fast forward, and it comes back up again. So if you can't skip it, you're stuck with it. It could be 13 seconds long, 20 seconds long.
Some ads are actually longer than that.
There are a few that have come up that are ads that run 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And there's no skipping it. Well, if I get one of those on a channel,
I turn it off.
I turn it off. I don't bother to watch it, and I don't go back to it again. So those are things. Then there's, of course, clickbait. Now, okay, I'm guilty of clickbait. Well, to a point. Pure clickbait is where they put in the title something that's going to get you. My mother was naked on a street corner. And it never in the whole video.
Actually, and there's some videos that will show some creature from the Black Lagoon and say, or some really really eye-catching picture of something, a disaster of some sort, and then say, oh, well, the best disaster movies of 2022 or something like that. And then when you click on it, that picture or whatever, that scene is never in the content.
It's not in the content. Video. That's clickbait.
Yeah.
Now, there's such a thing as creating a headline that'll, that sort of describes your content in an interesting way. The kind of thing that newspapers do with headlines, or used to do when there were newspapers, and that kind of thing. I do that. Like today I said, how we pick what we watch on YouTube. Well, that's not really a clickbait kind of title. But I have put ones in that are more like, we spent $3,000 at a fabric store. And we did. Or on a shopping spree or something. And we did. I do not mislead you. That is what we're talking about. It's the main gist.
But you may put it in such a way that it sounds more appealing.
Yeah. I mean, you could have put, yeah, we went shopping. As opposed to, we went shopping and spent $3,000. Okay? It's still the truth. But some of these ones that are out there are not the truth at all. Which makes you then question the legitimacy of what they have to tell you or show you. Can you trust them? If they're trying to suck you in with a piece of clickbait.
You know, like I've seen ones where they announce something on their video, and then the content of the video has nothing to do with what was said on the outside. So, and then you think, well, why am I watching this?
Yeah, but it's to get you in there, to get you hooked into it. And it may be done in such a way too, where you think, well, they'll probably be coming to this, but you're 10 minutes into the video and there's still nothing about that. Meanwhile, the ads have all come up and everything. So they're getting what from you, what they want, and that's money. Okay, this one is a pet peeve. Too many edits. You know, there is one content creator out there. I watch this person all the time, but it becomes a drinking game. If you were to take a shot, every time there was an edit, within 2 minutes of the video, you would be flat out on the floor,
like
dead drunk.
They'll say one word or one line, and it's an edit. What's annoying about the edit is their facial feature jumps.
And you're watching it.
So
and
you see.
You actually spend more time watching the edits than concentrating on the content. Because this person has good content. But there's all these edits. This person cannot say only can say one sentence at a time. And then there's an edit. Now, I have a philosophy about editing. My philosophy is simple. I don't. Maybe I should. But I don't. I very seldom do any kind of editing. What you get is what you see. If I trip over my tongue or I get lost in a thought because I have a senior's moment or something like that, I'll say, oh, I was going to tell you something about that. Well, that's gone. Kind of a thing. These other people would cut that right out. We all stumble when we speak. Not everybody is a perfect public speaker. We have ums and ohs and ahs, and sometimes we use the wrong word. It happens. You know, it's not a biggie. It's just
I have to scratch my nose once in a while.
Yeah, whatever, as long as only your nose. Because we don't need to see anything else that you're saying. But it's very, very annoying, I find. And I'm thinking, my God, how many hours do you spend when you make a video? If I was to take this video right now that we're doing, and I was to put in and to edit it, like to get rid of this, a pause where I'm trying to think of a word to say. If I was to get rid of all of those and spend that time, I would spend more time editing the video than it took to make it initially. And you hear creators complain about that. Oh, the hours, like for every hour of video, it takes me 2 hours of editing. And I say, well, you're doing something wrong. Like, you have that much time on your hands that you want to do that kind of editing for it. And it's just annoying. And just as a sideline, this person that I'm talking about, which I'm not going to tell you the YouTube channel, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I have met this person or went to something where this person was speaking live. I understand the edits now because a really bad public speaker. So that is why when they have the opportunity to edit, they edit with that. But I don't know. I don't like it. It bothers me a lot. Another thing too is when you talk about edits, I'm going to talk about buzzers and bells. You know, there's all kinds of different software for editing, and it can be fun to play with when you get the hang of it. So you'll find people. There was one I was watching the other day. This was very annoying and something new that this person put in their channel. Now, I will admit to something about this particular channel. I hate this content creator for so many reasons. But I watch this person's content all the time because it's a sadistic form of entertainment for me. And you know who I'm talking about. You know.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about it.
Has a couple of dogs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know now. Yeah, whatever. This content creator just recently started putting up keywords or key phrases from whatever they're talking about at the time. And usually what they're talking about is they do a lot of stuff about personal affirmation and how goals in life, kind of like a life coach sort of thing. And so suddenly in the middle of the screen comes, like if I was to say right now, somebody tends to put up keywords would come up on your screen. And I feel that that's a negative thing to put up on the screen. And that's very annoying. And that's how it happens on this one. So I don't need that. But they do it because they can. They must have got a new piece of software or something where they could do that. Others put in cute little characters running across your screen while they're talking about something. Or they have a ticker tape thing running by with information about something. That's too much information. That's information overload for me. I don't know now where to look or how to concentrate, and I'm missing maybe something they're talking about or whatever. So no. And if I go back to what I said, why I go to YouTube videos in the first place is to learn something. If that gets in the way of my learning, then I'm not coming back. So plus it takes up a lot of time to do that. On an occasion, I have put up something at the bottom of the screen because I said something incorrectly, and many YouTube people do that. You know why they do that? Because they know they're going to get called out on it. Someone's going to put in the comments, you said this, and that's not what is right. And then you have to go, I didn't mean that. I know I made a mistake. So what they do is they try to hit that off at the pass kind of a thing by putting in a little thing. I did it actually, I think it was this week. I think I said my vlog was number such and such. And then I realized, no, that was last week's vlog. So I just put a little thing at the bottom and said, no, I meant that number. And then it's on there for a few seconds and it disappears. Because I will get a comment saying, that's not the right number. Okay, I know. I'm not a complete idiot. Just half idiot with it. But you get a lot of that kind of stuff, the buzzers and bells. I know there are some people who do lives and they put in sound effects like applause and cheering and a crashing sound. And yeah, that's funny the first couple of times it's done. After a while, it becomes extremely annoying because it divides your attention with it. So that's something too that goes in along with the over editing. Another thing that annoys me is if somebody says there's going to be a link for this in the show notes below, and it's for a product or something you might be interested in looking at further, and then you go in the show notes and it's not there because they forgot. But some do that, and that happens. You could forget.
Yeah, you can forget, but some do it on a chronic basis.
All the time.
All the time.
There are two creators I watch on a regular basis that come on every other week, do about a 2-hour video, and they talk about, yeah, I'll have a link for that in the show notes. You go to the show notes afterwards, they don't have any of those links. And it's repeated week from week from week. To the point then they realize, oh yeah, we forgot to put that in. We'll put that in today. And it's not there. Again, oh, you tease. You tease. So, if you're going to put in a link, put in a link. I actually do the links in advance. When I set up the video, when it's going up, I drop them all. I have them on another thing. I cut and paste them all in. So
yeah, I used to do that at work when people would say, there's a note attached to this email. And then they'd send off the email and they'd never have the note attached. Yeah. So what I always used to do at work was attach the note first and then send it, then write the email. Because
it is easy to forget something like that. And the same with show notes on a YouTube channel. And I have before. But sometimes I don't link everything. And I get people asking me, oh, you mentioned this particular fabric. Do you have a link? No, because I figured I told you the fabric name and the company name in the video. that you can do a Google search, because that's what Google's for. And we've talked about that before. But if I feel that it's important, then I will put the link in to it as well. And there's an odd occasion when I have forgotten. And someone has said, oh, you said you're going to, I forgot. And I'll actually go in and edit the video, like drop that in and resave it on YouTube so it's there. But it can happen. But sometimes when it's repeated over and over again, like get your act together, you know, kind of thing. Contests. This seems to be a popular trend I have noticed more and more in the last year on YouTube channels. People giving things away. Now, I've got nothing against people giving things away if they want to give things away. But there's so many contests right now that now you hear content creators, some of them saying, I will not announce in my comment section of my YouTube that you have won a prize. I will send you an email for that, they'll say, because there's scammers out there. There are people who purposely have an algorithm, a computer program that searches the show notes of all YouTube channels looking for the word contest or prize. And then they enter in. And they also have it set up automatically so it will drop a comment into the section saying, oh, yes, I want to win this or do whatever. They're trying to get something for nothing. They're not watching the channel. This is all being done automated. I don't know why, but they are. And this is causing a lot of grief for content creators who have a contest and have prizes. So that they've had to do it, announce the prizes in another way or get in hold of the person who's won the prize with it. But what I question is, why do some channels feel they need to have a contest or have a prize?
To get more subscribers?
Exactly. Exactly. So that is a phishing technique. Okay, a phishing. That's phishing. That's the kind of thing they do on the internet to suck you into something. Now, I'm not saying that necessarily these people are doing it for the purposes for nefarious reasons or anything like that. But I choose not to do contests and that because I can't afford the shipping. I'd love to give away things.
But see, they can do it because they get all these other perks.
Yeah, I guess. So I guess you have to make it go that way, right? I mean, I would love to give, and there are people who said that they would, oh, I wish you would, like, can I buy one of those things, like one of my 3D printed things that go, I'd like to give them away, kind of a thing. But I can't, I looked into it. I can't afford what it costs to ship it. It's worth, the shipping is more expensive than the item, basically. That's why on my retreats, I do have prizes. But they're Amazon gift certificates. Now it costs me some money because that retreat cost is free. It's always for free. So I'm dropping about $150 every time I do a retreat just on gift certificates from Amazon alone. But I choose to do that because that's a special occasion. I only do the retreat twice a year. However, other people might be giving away things in contests just because they're that kind of person. They're a very generous person. So I'm not painting all of them with the same brush, okay, on here. But I know there are others who are doing it because they want to increase their subscriber base. And yeah, it's a tactic that works. But yeah, so whatever. I guess in that case, but I don't enter contests. That's just me. Okay, again, that's just me. Will that make me stop watching a channel? No. No, not if their content is good, you know, and everything like that, then that's fine. It doesn't bother me if they're having a contest. But just beware that maybe they may have nefarious reasons for doing that. Okay, then there's some etiquette things. Eating while you're doing a video.
Well, we do drink.
I was going to say, we do on the live, we are having a beer. But we're not slurping the beer. I have watched some channels where somebody is talking, they're presenting something, and they're munching down on a sandwich. You can hear them eating, and that's disgusting. That's really disgusting. They probably don't even realize maybe that their microphone is picking that up, but it is. It's picking it up.
We've watched one where they're very noisily eating in a very disgusting way.
Oh, it's very disgusting. And not only are they eating, they're just seeing their mouth, and
you can see things going around in their mouth.
I don't need to see what's in your mouth. I don't. I really don't. Those are channels I don't subscribe to, if that's on a regular basis. I mean, if it happens on a rare occasion, or gum chewing. Oh my God. Did your mother never told you it's impolite to talk to somebody with gum in your mouth and chewing it?
Well, then I worked in workplaces where they didn't allow you to chew gum.
I mean, it's one reason why we didn't let kids chew gum in school or that kind of thing in the early days of my teaching careers. Got near the end, it didn't matter. They'd come in with a smorgasbord and you just gave up on it. But yeah, so I was talking about all of this and blow a bubble and on it. Yeah, no, that's disgusting. That's disgusting behavior. So that'll turn me right off. Or other things in etiquette. Stuff coming out of your mouth. Like, I've watched some where they've actually sneezed and their screen is probably covered in boogers because they just go and they just keep going on. We saw one. This was funny because this is the first. I had never seen this before. YouTube creator, relatively new to YouTube.
Oh.
And he farts.
He burps really loud.
Oh, burps. Well, he farted too.
Yeah, burps really
loud. Like, it's okay. And
that's time for an edit.
Yeah, and that's when editing is a good thing. But he was oblivious to the fact that he had done this. And he repeated it several times in the video. Like I said, to the point where it was making me gag, but it was making me laugh too, like in a very sadistic way. You know, I didn't unsubscribe from this person because I'll admit, I'll go back and hope for more. Because it's one of those things, you know, you're glued to it. When's he going to do it? Is it going to... His nose is twitching. I think he's going to do it. Wait, no, I can't go to the bathroom yet because he might do it while I'm in the bathroom. I want to see. That's kind of bad. And scratching.
I do that.
Or adjusting your bra strap or other apparel. You know, like I have watched videos where the presenter, and it may be a nervous habit. Like they're in there.
I do that.
Adjust your bra strap?
No, I adjust my collar sometimes.
Well, you know, I do too. Kind of thing. But I mean, some of these are going for a treasure hunt.
I'll scratch because my top of my forehead itches.
Or they get their hand right in there and they're going, as they're talking, go, excuse me, do you have a problem?
Now I'm itching all over.
Yeah, there you go. Well, you see, now you want to scratch. That kind of thing. So, yeah, you should always make sure there's nothing hanging out of any orifice on your body, and you should always, like, not be touching your body too much. There's one. This one's not really disgusting, but there is another creator, actually, one I mentioned about the words coming up on the screen. I call it clutching the pearls. As this person is talking all the time with friends. So, the other day, I did this. And it's called clutching the pearls. Clutching the pearls. Another drinking game. It's a lot of fun. You'll be drunk within 5 minutes with this particular individual. Okay. So, all right. Demos. When people do demonstrations, you want to make sure that you're giving the proper instructions while you're doing the demo, or that you kind of have practiced the demo before you do it. Now, I have to say, and I know it's the funniest video I ever made, apparently, and it was unintentional. I decided to film myself making Dutch pancakes one day. And it was a disaster. I had never made them before. Walter had made them, and I figured, well, if he can make them, I had the recipe. They're not that hard. I can make them. No, and it became definitely a comedy routine, and I didn't intend it to be a comedy routine. So that did teach me something. Don't do something for the first time as a demo. If you've never done it before, no, you need to practice it because things will go wrong. Now, minor things sometimes happen. Like I did a demo the other day and my sewing machine wasn't threaded. I started out and went, well, you know, it would probably help if I threaded it. Things like that do happen, but sometimes you get these ones who are going to show you this and they've set it all up and you're thinking, and you've gone to it because you think you're going to learn, and it's a complete disaster, or it's completely wrong. You know, like, okay, not reliable information here. So if they do that, okay, if it's one occasion, you just chalk it up to, you know, okay, that was kind of funny, or all right, whatever. But if it's repeated over and over again, then you have to question the legitimacy of what this person's telling you. You know, there's a lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of information on the internet. It's not all correct.
No.
You have to be skeptical.
No, like there's actually there was one demo I saw a little while ago now. It was introducing a new I think it was a new serger. And it was a person that was a salesperson for for a sewing company, and they were showing you how to thread the serger. But they said during the threading of the serger that you should put all your tension dials to 0 when you're doing your threading. Well, I've never heard of that before. I mean, I've always threaded my serger without having to do that, and it throws off if you're used to using certain tension for surging, then you're constantly having to readjust your tension for that, and so I have no idea why this person was showing this demo.
And when you thread a serger anyways, when you put the serger into threading mode, it opens up
the discs, so the discs for threading it. So I have no idea why this person was moving the tension dials to 0.
And another thing too, when people do demos, and I got accused of this one, we did a little demo about the thread bobbin winding on a sewing machine, and Walter was doing the video with the camera, and someone said, only one person said it, and I watched the video and I don't know if I agree with them completely, but whatever, it bothered them. They said my hands were in the way for the angle. And it was an awkward angle that we were shooting at in the whole bit. Yeah, it could have been better. It could have been clearer with it. So, I mean, I only have one person that mentioned that, but, you know, nevertheless, yeah, I should have been more aware of it. So, like I said, these things that we are talking about that turn us off of some videos are things that we have done as well, some of them, but we try not to. And that's all we ask of all these.
And a lot of times that happens on brand new content creators that aren't as familiar with the technology or something like that.
It is tricky to do a video.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's not as straightforward as you might think, especially if you're trying to do something that where you want to show somebody something with it. So that brings up to bad production quality. Okay. If I look back on my original videos, my very first ones, the production quality isn't what it is today. Now, is my production quality Hollywood quality? No. Because I don't have Hollywood equipment for it. And that's probably the case for most content creators. But there are two things that content creators need to be aware of: sound and the visual. People have to be able to see you, and they have to be able to hear you.
There's often times where there's people that have cameras that are always out of focus for one reason or the other. There's ones that I've seen where the camera lens must be dirty.
Walter has a thing about dirty camera lenses.
So, it's like there's a fog on the lens or something like that. So, I mean, really, people, keep your camera lenses clean.
Yeah. And people have to be able to hear you as well. And usually, if you're making a video with an iPhone or an Android phone, unless you've got the latest model in that, the sound quality on those devices is not always the greatest. You either need a microphone, an external microphone that you can clip, or you need big microphones. And that's what we have here. We have dual microphones. They're Yetis. And that's what I use. But I learned that over time with it. Because if you go back to one of our first set of Stephen and Walter Live, we did them from the kitchen counter using an iPhone 6 without a microphone. Wow. Sound quality sucks on that. And, you know, like I have lighting right now, and most content creators do of one form or another, because you need a lot of light for this, and a decent camera. The better the camera, the less lighting you need, because it'll adjust for it. But, you know, nothing says amateur like really bad production. Like, why do you waste your time if you're going to do something that is substandard for it? Doesn't have to be Hollywood quality. Ours are not. But, you know, check it out. And you'll usually get comments. One thing you'll get a comment about for sure, and I can tell you this from experience. Your video sound is too loud. Your video sound is too soft. You need to adjust your volume. Sometimes you have to go back and you check your video. And no, sound quality's fine. I can hear it. No problem with it. Maybe you need to turn up your hearing aid. I don't know. Have you heard of the volume setting on your computer or your television set? That works wonders too. Sometimes. But there have been times where I didn't know there was a technical problem. And usually I scan through my videos before they go up, so to check to make sure that's there. And I do a test before we start to record as well.
Yeah, and some people seem to do live productions or something that they record or something, and never seem to realize that their microphone's not working.
Yeah, and I've seen several.
And they don't realize that until many minutes into the thing. And the thing is that you might think that, okay, you understand that happens the first time or maybe even the second time, but it happens every time they do it.
Yeah. And so obviously they're just publishing it onto YouTube and they're not checking it out. And it's very annoying. If you can't hear what their people are talking about, I've seen interviews done like that. Like they've been on location. They've been at a show of some sort, you know, a conference or something, and they're talking to somebody or talking to a vendor about their products.
And you can't hear what's going on. All you hear is background noise.
Yeah.
You can't hear a word what they're saying. So, and all they've done is slap the video up onto YouTube. And it's really annoying to watch because you can't hear what they're saying.
No. And it grates on you when that happens, because you're going, well, I'm wasting my time here because I really want to know about this stuff and I can't hear it or whatever. So, yeah, everybody's going to make technical mistakes when they first start out. It's if they continue to make those mistakes time and time again frequently that makes me go, okay, I'm not wasting my time anymore on this. There's other content out there I could be watching from it. And I guess the last thing that really gets my goat above everything else is insincerity. And that's really a combination of a lot of these things we've already talked about, but fake. Someone who's on there whose personality is coming across as being, you know, way overly friendly, way over concerned, just way over the top kind of a thing. It makes me question, what are they doing? Are they doing a performance? You love me, you really love me? Or are they really interested in delivering some information that may be of value to people? I don't know. That is something I can't pinpoint down because everybody's different, right? But I think, you know, as you watch more and more YouTube videos, you know the kind of people that grate you. I'm sure I grate some people, and so they're not here. They're not watching this. They turned me off long ago, and that's okay. Can't please everybody. But you really do judge a book by its cover as a viewer of content, you know, because what else do you have to go by? So, you know, it's important, and I don't know how you strike a balance because you're never going to be able to please everybody. I mean, everybody loves Walter. He has a fan club, the whole bit. He's just adorable. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, don't be hard on
I put up
Walter.
with your abuse.
So I'm an abuser. What can I say? You want to see abuse? I need you to help me back my car out. I want you to stand right behind it. Oops. I didn't realize.
Yeah, then who's going to pump your tires up?
Oh, pump your ass. Whatever. But yeah, you get the point, I think, out of that. Okay, so that was us today. Something a little different.
Rattling off.
If you want more content like this, and that's a threat, then don't give us any suggestions for content because we're out. We're running on slim here. We never know what we're going to talk about. And I would like to be able to make sure that we're prepared when we want to talk about something. So if you've got something you would like to hear us talk about or put our point of view on it or whatever, please write that in as a comment or send it to me as an email. You know the drill. Email is in the show notes below. Okay, so that's it for this edition of So Chatty. No hate mail, please. No pointing out that you do exactly what you said you weren't going to do. I wonder if anybody will get this right now. I'm seeing if you paid attention. Okay, time to go. Thanks for joining us. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you maybe on the live on Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And if not, have a good week. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.
Bye, all.